the cornerstone on which this great nation was founded on, and the ideal we seek to protect every day. Freedom manifests itself commercially in the form of a free enterprise economy where supply and demand dictate the price. Today, we are debating the governmental control of corporations. Corporate regulation has in fact been in place for a long time in this country. The FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, regulates food and drug industries so they don't kill people with their products. The USDA regulates the agricultural companies, and many other regulation companies exist for the protection of the people. Corporations can only be regulated in order to prevent them from committing a crime. For example, GE and other electronics companies are regulated today to make sure they don't put explosive components in your shiny brand new microwave. Other very large companies were also regulated to prevent them from producing monopolies. This is the status quo. To win the debate today, the affirmative must produce a plan that not only fulfills the resolution, resolve that the U.S. government should significantly increase government control over corporations, but is also practical and desirable. The affirmative seems to ignore that the U.S. is already a mixed economy. Government regulation exists, therefore it's not solely in the hands of supply and demand. As for their regulation on utilities, that already exists. In each state, there is an agency in charge of helping companies impose price caps on themselves to ensure maximum profitability while still being fair to the consumer. So that's already happening. Their plan is unnecessary since these things already occur in our economy. First, if the government delves deeper into the realm of economics, there is a greater risk for commercial interests polluting politics. Today, lobbyists throw their economic support behind the politicians that support policies favoring them. With government regulation of corporations, the lobbyists will become dangerously effective. Say if one company wants a better stake in the market, it can lobby for changes in its regulation. The problem that lies therein is that all of the corporations are being held to the same standard except this one. Now this company has a much greater advantage over its peers. This is different than the status quo in that our current economy there are much more variables in terms of price, success, and income. Now back to the hypothetical situation. Now wanting a piece of the action, all the other companies lobby for support from the government until they are all basically running dogs of the government. This would be the death of free enterprise as well. The corporations would only act in the government's interest as they would be the ones providing their sustenance. As a result, small businesses will be crushed as they struggle to compete against government-backed megacorporations. This goes against everything our founding fathers stood for. Former President Thomas Jefferson said, "A wise and frugal government which shall restrain men from injuring one another, which shall leave them otherwise free to regulate their own pursuits of industry and improvement, and shall not take from the mouth of labor the bread it has earned." This is the sum of good government, and this is necessary to close the circle of our felicities. Another inherent problem with the affirmative's plan is its ambiguity on international corporations. An international corporation is defined as a corporation doing business in different countries. This creates a problem. If the regulation did not apply to corporations from other countries operating in the U.S., then they would have the unfair economic advantage of being to do whatever the heck they want. If it does indeed apply to international corporations, then many more problems arise. Say a corporation from another country wants to do business with the U.S. Well, if they don't like the regulation, then they would become irate and retract business ventures within the U.S., thus losing the U.S. much-needed economic activity. So in essence, any government regulation of corporations past making sure they don't kill people is flawed and will inevitably lead to disaster. To summarize, the regulation of corporations up until this point was to prevent them from breaking laws. The affirmative's plan for increasing government regulation of corporations is undesirable because of loss of freedom, and because the plan is unnecessary, as in the economy already holds standards for utilities and regulation. Vote for freedom, vote for liberty. Vote for free enterprise, vote negative. Thank you.